All right. So again, we are getting this recorded. I'm gonna, rip through it just so that way we respect everybody's time. But then also for those who want to rewatch it later, it's not a big lengthy video. You just go back and rewatch it a couple times if needed. But this one's going to be for effective lead follow up and appointment setting. This is what me and Nalika do day to day within our business. We still do it now, except for mine's obviously with agent, but Nalika does this to a T every day. And it's the real estate funnel. The more that you can focus on these activities within the funnel, the more predictable and consistent your business will be. It's not the sexy, fun stuff that people talk about and think about when they're thinking about real estate, but these are truly the things that move the needle, which gets you results, as in clients, escrows, and then commission. So, and it doesn't matter, and you'll see as we go through the funnel, as long as you're working on each piece each day, you're definitely going to move down the funnel and build a predictable business. But it all starts with activity. So, one, we all know that in our business, we have to do some type of activity to get leads and clients. That could be anything from social media, open houses, YouTube, door knocking, networking, whatever that looks like. It all starts up here. We do those activities to then start getting into the funnel. So obviously, there's multiple lead generation tactics, strategies, implementations out there. I don't want to get in the weeds with any of that on this training. If anybody has any questions or would like to dive into that a little bit deeper, as always, please reach out, let us know. But whatever activity you're doing obviously to get leads. Before we get into leads, which is the next piece or the first piece of the funnel, just a couple things to think about while you're doing lead follow-up. One, it doesn't matter what activity you do. If you do open houses, you do it to get leads, then you have to follow up with those leads. If you do mailers, you mail things out so that way people reach out to you, leave you voicemails, send you a DM, whatever, email, you got to reach out to them. When you do door knocking, you got to reach out to them. It doesn't matter what lead source you're doing, you're going to need to follow up at some point. So everybody's definitely going to benefit from this. Just a little tip, remember, this is a long game. Most of the clients that you speak to are not going to be hot to try to want to go right now. Now, you will get a few, depending on the lead sources, you might get more faster. Some plays, like if you're doing YouTube, maybe social might take a little bit longer, unless you're going after your sphere on social, but those are a little bit longer plays, right? But like I built my business on Facebook ads. I know that those were about a 6 month nurture time before things started truly like popping and being consistent. So just remember, this isn't an instant gratification industry. So everything that we're doing for our future self. So remember to we're always playing the long game. And then the reason why we get those leads is, again, part of that long game. It's to nurture and follow up with them, to build the connection, to build a rapport, get them to know you, like you, trust you. That way, when they are ready to transact, whenever it's best for them, you're who they think about because you've been staying in touch with them. You've been in front of them through social or through other mediums. You're checking in and just building that connection to where it's a no-brainer when it comes time for them to transact, to reach out to you. And you'll see this several times throughout the presentation. It's not on accident. It's because it's that important. Hopefully, everybody is using and leveraging their CRM. It doesn't matter what activity you're doing. If you're doing that activity and you're getting leads and you're not putting them into your CRM to follow up with them, you will lose out on clients, on business, on commissions to agents like myself and agents on our team who are dialed in and thorough with their CRM. The reason being is, yeah, if you have one or two leads, maybe clients, it's easy to stay in front of them, in touch with them, to remember them. As you start getting more and more leads, clients, you get further in the year, you start getting repeat clients and referrals. You're going to lose something. You're going to drop the ball. You're not going to follow up. And then again, agents like us and our organization who are following up consistently, frequently, and with intention, we're going to be the ones who end up taking that client when they look to retransact the next time around. So definitely leverage your CRM. With that as well, that could be its whole other training and setup and process. If you have any questions about that, want to dive a little bit further, or if you don't have a CRM and you would like to get one set up or sign up for one, let me know. We get a discount through our agents and our partners for agents who want to sign up for CRM. Let me know and I'll send you that link so that way it'll be free sign up and a very feasible CRM for you to use. So now we're getting into leads, right? And I could preface it with, here's the real estate funnel. Here's how it breaks down. I like to chunk it out. So Obviously, we started about here with activities, which then gets us the leads, right? Which is where we're at now. Then it goes into appointments made, appointments conducted, clients under contract, generates a closing or commission, which then spits out a past client, which then rolls back up to our leads, which are our number one lead source, right? Like referrals, past clients, those tend to be an agent's what everybody wants, right? But a lot of agents don't put them in their CRM to follow up with them on their home anniversary or closing day or at monumental events to them and their family, to where they lose touch, right? Especially as more and more time goes on. So this will all definitely help. So real quick, that's the funnel. So that's what we'll be breaking down. So right now we're here at leads, where it all starts. As I mentioned, put it in your CRM and then let it be your automated assistant, where it's sending out emails on your behalf, text on your behalf, where it's sending you reminders to reach out to them or to do certain things for them, right? Maybe they needed a CMA, or you were supposed to get rental comps or send them over new build information. Without a task or something helping to remind you to get that out, like a CRM or reaching out on your behalf, they're going to fall between the cracks. Now, leads, right? There's newer leads and then leads you've already spoken with. So new leads, you just got to be a little bit more frequent and consistent, because however you just got them, you want to stay build that rapport a lot quicker, right? Like you don't want to let a week, a month, a year go by and then start re-engaging with them. You want to stay in touch with them frequent, because if it is a new lead, like a Facebook lead, maybe I call them, 3-4 times and I haven't been able to get in touch with them. I still need to follow up the drip frequency to help ensure that I do hit them within the time frame that we know it is, which is typically between the 5th and 12th attempt. Now, also too, be a little bit more vague. I mean, in the sense of, if you're leaving a voicemail, hey, Emily, hope you're doing well. If I can get a return text or a call whenever you have a moment, 623-910-6700. It sounds like we're friends, like we've already maybe met each other, connected somehow. I knew your name, but I didn't say my name or my company yet. The reason being is because if I haven't spoken with them and had that initial conversation, well, one, I don't know an Emily and I don't need to know an Emily. And then she also mentioned whatever real estate. It doesn't matter what she said, because I don't need real estate. So then you're not going to get a call back. You're not going to get a text back. So for new leads, we recommend being vague until you have that conversation with them. And then that's when you can start, hey, Emily, it's Armando. It's a Breeze Real Estate Group. Just checking back in on you, as I mentioned I would. Just want to see how you've been doing, how the plan was going, if you were working on this, or however that conversation went, right? But then also too, that's when you're referring to the previous notes that you entered into your CRM. That's when you get an update like, hey, they said to follow up after tax time, because that's when they were also going to be 2 years in on their self-employment date. Well, if I don't have those notes in there to then reference, to then bring up, I'm going to ask them the same repetitive questions, which annoys people or shows incompetency. It shows like we're not paying attention or we're valuing what they say. And then that's also too, when you insert your value. Maybe they're ready to go then, great. If not, what can we do to offer value or service, so that way, one, we continue to build the rapport, build that connection, but then also two, try to help them move forward in the progress, right? Maybe they're working on a credit plan. Cool, how's that credit repair plan going? Have you been paying anything off? Have you been consolidating anything? What does that look like? Maybe they were waiting for, hey, I'm waiting for after the school year, so that way once my kids graduate, we could sell the house and downsize. Hey, last time I spoke with you, I know you mentioned to call you after the school year, to see if you were ready to go ahead and sell and downsize. I know you mentioned to follow up with you around this time. I was just checking in, seeing how things are going, seeing if you'd like to go ahead and get things started, right? So then you start kind of building off the whatever it is there. And let's just say they say, no, you know what, we decided to move into after summer. We're going to take a family trip. We're going to go out of town for the summer, check back in with us early fall. Perfect. Well, hey, in the meantime, would you like an updated current value report just to keep a pulse on your home's equity and value? Hey, cool. Can I give you some recommendations to wherever it is you're traveling, whatever it is, right? Maybe you've already spoken to them and they like to read. Hey, I know you like to read. I know it's a long flight. You should check out this book and this book. I think you'd really like it, right? Just like things that agents are normally talking to clients about, but that's what we do, is we turn our clients into friends, right? So always too, until you have that initial conversation, remember to be frequent and consistent. But then also too, maybe they say, you know what, I'll be ready to go in 2 years, 3 years. You should still be frequent and consistent on that, whether it's every 90 days, every 6 months. Like there should be some cadence and rhythm to your follow-up, so that way it helps them, it helps you stay top of mind for them. Stick to the drip. Each CRM is going to have their own drip plan. Each lead source is going to have its own drip plan. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you stick to whatever frequency and consistency it prompts you to follow up with those clients. If you're just closing it out, it's gonna delay your conversion rate, your connection rate, your appointment rate, which is only hurting you, which why it might feel like, damn, I keep calling or keep reaching out, but they're not doing it, right? So stick with it until you get to know the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And then lastly, know when you're gonna follow up. And if you don't know, a simple way to find out is ask them. Like, oh, okay, nothing right now. Well, when would you like me to check back in on you? Is there a better time you would like me to follow up? Okay, well, hey, I know maybe they came to an open house. Oh, okay. Was there maybe a time frame in mind you saw yourself in your new home? Whatever it is, because then that will help start building the frequency and consistency in which you should follow up. If you have to ask yourself after the conversation, or somebody asks you, okay, here's the conversation, here's where they're at, cool. When are you going to follow up with them? Again, you should know. And if you don't know, you should ask so that way then you know, right? And then always send your e-card or your contact info. It could be your Popple, an e-card. You want to send them things to, it does several things. One, you'd be surprised at how many people save it. It's like a photo or the link they could just click, adds to your contacts. It's super easy to save. Two, you'd be surprised at how many people share it. Like, oh, Emily's friend starts talking about how they want to buy a house. Oh, I was just talking to Armando. He mentioned he's an agent. Here's his card. He just sent it to me. You'd be surprised how many times that happens. But also, too, because it has your face, your socials, they either one, start building the rapport, the connection, things like that. But then two, they're going to start checking you out on social. Most people are going to check you out online. Now, even if they go to Google, they're still going to come across your Instagram, your YouTube, your Facebook. So they're going to see you. So that's what you want them to do. So that way they can start resonating with you and connecting with you on that level as well. So now we're going to go ahead and make our way down the funnel as well. Well, first, before we get into those pillars, here's our cadence, and we call it our like waterfall, our calling waterfall, in the order in which that we hope the conversation goes. So first and foremost, the reason why we call any lead from any activity that we're doing is to set the appointment. We want to set the appointment with them. We want to have that buyer consultation, that listing presentation, that new build consultation, the custom build consultation, whatever that looks like. And that could be in-person, virtual. But why we're calling is to set the appointment. Even if you're texting or DMing somebody, trust me, serious, committed appointments get set over the phone. Now, you're going to luck out with some on DM or text, but trust me, nothing solidifies it and confirms it than a quick phone call just to lock it down. If we can't get the appointment, okay, can we get our lender involved? Start getting them into our world, start kind of moving the ball down the field to at least start getting a realistic game plan of time frame, obstacles, things like that, right? Now, that could be, hey, would you like me to have my lender reach out to see what you look like? I'll put together a credit repair plan to get a time frame. There's multiple reasons why you can get a lender involved. You know, hey, see how much equity or how much of your home's equity you can put towards your new home and how much you'll be able to put in the bank. That way we'll know how much we're going to finance, right? So that way maybe if they say no to the appointment, they say yes to connecting with the lender, which still moves the ball down the field and starts getting them into our world and realm, right? Maybe they say no from there. Cool. Well, hey, I know you mentioned you had a home. Would you like a free current value report on it? Keep up with your home's equity and value. I know that you mentioned that you didn't want to speak to a lender to see what you qualify for, but they do help with credit repair. So if you think there might be some obstacles or some things like that that you might want to look at, they can put together the most cost efficient and timely plan for you. That way you know what to work on and when you should be good to go. Or maybe it's, no, I'm good right now, thanks. Okay, well, hey, I know you own your current home. It's about to be pool season. Would you like me to maybe connect you with a new pool guy or somebody in the pool world? I know summer's coming up. Do you need an HVAC person? If there's any vendor partner of mine that I could be of service and get and connect you with, let me know. I would love to do that, right? And then 4, okay, cool. Well, hey, do you know of anybody else that we might be able to help? Do you have any friends or family, coworkers, colleagues, whatever that you know that might be jumping to the market? And then if not, then okay, cool. Well, hey, when would you like me to check back in on you? You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you're waiting on? What's your situation? And go from there. I put this down here just to remind everybody because a lot of people get freaked out when they call. These are literally the only conversations you're ever going to have. And obviously they're finite. You're either going to talk to somebody and they're buying, they're selling, they're doing a dual, they're selling and buying, they're renting or wanting to get into another rental, they want a new build or they want a custom build. They're going to build their own home. They want to buy land. That's it. And I say that because after you start having enough of each, you're like, oh, I've spoken with you before because there's only X number of conversations. Now, the name's going to change, the information, the details, right? Those specifics are going to change, but the conversation is the exact same. And you'll see there's what, six? So you'll have no more than six. Maybe there's an oddity one out there, but for the most part, you're going to have six core conversations. So take comfort in that, right? Like the more that you start having those conversations, the more you're like, hey, I don't care who you are, what your situation is. If you want to buy, I got it. I know what to say. I know the flow. I know the cadence. I know how we're going to do it. Same with selling, duals, renting, things like that, right? So uh, getting into the next step of the waterfall, or I'm sorry, the funnel is appointment set. So we do activities to get leads. We put leads to follow up with them and nurture them. Again, the main point of that is to then set the appointment, right? I say that for several reasons, because if you're calling and you're not asking each time for the appointment, why'd you call? Like that is the purpose of it. Have that intentionality. Not even that. Have those goals, those commitments. Like to me, I had to set at least two appointments every day before I left the office, or I couldn't leave the office. And ask Malika, there was times when I was like, hey, I gotta go out, I gotta go network or do something. I'm an appointment short. But that was my commitment to myself. I wanted two a day. Okay, or do you want one a day? Do you want three a week? Have a target. Like the arrow doesn't hit the bullseye attracts the arrow. You got to know what the target is, right? So make sure that you're asking, and that's why I put it here. Did you ask? Because while you're calling, set the appointment. While you're setting the appointment, things to keep in mind. Where are you going to conduct it at? If it's a listing, obviously it's going to be at their house. But are we meeting at a new build center? Are we meeting at one of our offices? Are we meeting at a coffee shop? Are we meeting over Zoom? Know where you're going to meet, because then when it goes into setting up the appointment, the flow is a lot easier, right? And then also know when. The sooner the better. Typically, you want to get in front of them within 72 hours or less. The longer you set out that appointment, the higher the no-show rate goes. So you want to connect with them within 72 hours or less, but also know your schedule, right? Like if you are, maybe you have another job, maybe you have kids, maybe you're involved with a religious organization, charity, whatever it is. That's why knowing your calendar is so important, because you don't want to overbook, you don't want to overcommit. And then when I'm teeing up my appointment, and I'll get into the last part, and then I'll go into what it looks like when I set up an appointment real quick. So know your calendar, right? So that way you can say, okay, hey, I got this day and time available, or this day and time available. Which one works best for you? But then the lender, you already want to start thinking about it. Is the lender going to be at the meeting with you? Are you going to have them jump on a Zoom when you're in face-to-face with them? Is it a virtual consultation and they're going to join the Zoom? Are they going to contact them before or after? Start kind of knowing your process. And if you need help building out your appointment setting process or your buyer consultation process, reach out to us. Let us know. We got the resources. We'll put you to it. But know what your flow is going to be. That way, again, you have that cadence. You want each time you talk or have one of those 6 conversations for it to all flow the same way, right? And then send your confirmation text. All right, Emily, look forward to seeing you Friday evening at 6 p.m. via Zoom. Here's the link. Here's my e-card. Please reach out if you need anything else prior, right? Boom. So then he said it. So what it would look like to incorporate all this is we like to do a lot of virtual consultations, but also we have an office in Surprise, so I'll use both, and then I'll go down. So Emily, sounds great. From what you're telling me, definitely sounds like we'll be able to help. The next best step would be for us to connect you with the lender, see what purchase price lines up with the monthly payment you're comfortable with. I can go over the market with you, the buying process, get your home search set up. When's a good time for us to jump on a Zoom or meet at our Surprise office? Again, I'm going to say Zoom, but I want to show you the example so that way you could insert a virtual or a physical location. But when's a good time for us to jump on Zoom or meet at our Surprise office? I got Friday at 6 p.m. available, or I got Saturday at 11 a.m. available. What day and time works best for you? And then she'll pick. We'll go from there. Our lender, when we do our consultations, and again, you can reach out, we can go over our process with you. Our lender, for the most part, is always on the Zoom, or they're available, like when we're at the Zoom, maybe they're not on it, but they're available for a quick call. So we'll call, we'll put them on speaker, we'll do a 3-way, whatever that looks like. But then they take the application while we're there, because then it's a lot smoother. If they're a client that it's like a past client, it's somebody who they don't need as much hand holding. And I'm not going to say hand holding, but they know it. They don't care. Like they're not going to dodge the lender. They know the process. They know what docs they need to send. You could just have your lender reach out. They'll get through the details. Then you do your consultation. That way the consultation's a lot. It's the same consultation, but it's shorter, just more like touching on the points that are specific to them, goes over the next steps. And then, hey, any questions? Nope. And then it just flows like butter, right? So, and then you always send the confirmation text because those little micro commitments help them like, and I always say like, hey, would you mind texting me back to confirm that you got the appointment details or office address or whatever it is? Got it. Thank you. It starts those little micro commitments that show that they're committed, that those little process. But then also when it's like, hey, you said the lender needs these docs if you can get them. Okay. Hey, we got to start doing this. You need to sign this. Okay. Like they start knowing that like, hey, I'm the professional. I'm going to lead you down the right way. All you got to do is follow me. From there, appointment conduction. So activities, leads, appointment set. Now we're here at appointment conduction. Now, it surprises me that I still have to say this, but no matter what the consultation is, whether it's a Zoom or it's in person, my God, be early. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. You truly, especially in our industry, get one opportunity to make a first impression. There is no do-overs. The last thing you want to do is be the one to show up late. Account for traffic, account for going to the other side of town, account for, I've got to pack my gym bag, my lunch. That should all be done. Be early, right? I'd rather be waiting in front of somebody's house for 10 or 15 minutes than being the agent that showed up 10 or 15 minutes late, right? Because then what is that going to portray to them in regards to your professionalism, your services, your value, right? From there, hopefully you have a dialed in buyer consultation or listing presentation. If you don't, please reach out. We would love to put you to the game because it's highly important. It keeps everything systematized and in steps and in sequential order. That way it helps ensure repeated success. Success meaning signed buyer brokers, signed listing agreements. I can't tell you how many times I've heard Nalika and a lot of our other agents, I mean, at this point, hundreds of times say, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Congrats on getting it. I know you mentioned that they were interviewing you and other agents. Did you ask why they decided to choose you? If you're not asking, always ask whether they chose you or not. It's a great learning tool. But when they say, oh my God, I met with other agents, you knew I was meeting with other agents, but nobody had a presentation like this. Nobody went over it with me like this. Nobody sat down and explained to me and showed me these visuals and walked me through every step in a very quick and efficient manner. So if this is what you're doing now before I'm a client, I can only imagine what you're going to do once I work for you. And then from there, that's when you dial it up to a level 13. On a scale from 1 to 10, we never do a 10, we go for a 13 each and every time. So have the buyer consultation presentation. That's what also explains or expresses your value, your knowledge, your professionalism, right? It just helps just show that. Again, I'm surprised I have to say it, but don't leave without the signed buyer broker, without the listing agreement. The reason why we follow up with leads is to set the appointment. The reason why we conduct the appointment is to get the client. You do not have a client if you do not have a buyer broker or a listing agreement. Now, I know you're saying, well, what if it's virtual? I got you. What you're going to want to do is anchor it to their property search or their pre-qualification. Perfect, Emily. I'll go ahead and get that search set up for you, send you over that new build information. Just go ahead and make sure that you e-sign or docu-sign the document I just emailed to you. That way I can go ahead and truly move forward with everything. Now they know that, oh, I can't get this or move forward or do this without doing this. But then it still gets signed, right? And then follow up accordingly. They might say, okay, hey, well, it's going to take me a week or two to get with payroll or get with my employer or whatever to get this. Cool. Follow up. That's why asking important. Hey, when would you like me to follow up? Or during that consultation, and that's why we like to have all parties involved, client, lender, and agent, is because then we know, we don't even have to ask, hey, well, what it sounds like is you're going to be doing this and doing this. Perfect. I'll go ahead and check back in on you this day, this time. Should you need anything on your or an RN prior, I'll text you my e-card again. Please reach out. Let me know. If not, you'll definitely be hearing back from me that day, that time. But then they know when us as the agent is reaching out, when the lender is reaching out, what is needed on each party. We know where we're at and where we're going, and it just helps them feel so much more comfortable in going forward. And then get the lender involved if not already. If you got into the point where, okay, you called them, you didn't maybe want to have the lender speak with them to where, because sometimes the lenders will, and not intentionally, but the clients get spooked. They think that they're in a better position that they are. They'll connect with the lender, figure out that they maybe have some credit issues, some action items that they need to take care of, and then it kind of deters them from it. Maybe they're not in a position right now to be able to handle it, so that kind of puts a wrench in things. So maybe you didn't want to connect them with the lender prior to your consultation because you still wanted to meet with them, build that rapport, get the buyer broker, because you could always put it for out as long as you want. So maybe you meet with them, then you have your lender reach out. But if your lender's not involved yet at this point, they need to be involved. Okay, so now they're a client. Remember, we left with the signed by broker, the listing agreement, just some things that, quick tips, if you will. One, lead the process. You're the real estate professional. You got to be the pro, and you got to be the one to always let them know, here's where we're at. Here's what we're waiting on or needed. Once we get it, here's then where we're going, right? And then you'll see in the next slides, but hey, here's when you can always expect to hear from me, whether it's on certain days. Maybe you're a high producing agent and it's like, hey, I do my return calls between 10 in the morning and 11:30 in the morning, and then 4 and 5 in the evening, and then a short window between 7:30 and 8. But then they know, okay, well, if I reach out to Emily at these days or at these times, she's only going to get back to me at these days, these times. And trust me, people will respect that. They respect your schedule. They don't expect you to be fully catering to their ever whim, right? But if you're leading the process, always explaining that information, here's where we're at and where we're going, they're not going to feel the need to reach out to you. On our honest opinion, if they are reaching out to you frequently, like we hear agents like, oh, they just keep reaching out, they keep reaching out to me, that's a you problem. You did not do something right in the process to where they don't feel secure and confident enough to where they're reaching out to you. Or you are not reaching out to them enough, which you should. You don't have a cadence or a rhythm for wherever they're at. So now they're just playing the guessing game. They want to know. It's been several days. They thought they would have heard back by now. They don't know any better that, hey, maybe it's been several days, but it takes a week, because you didn't explain that. You got to be the pro, right? At this point, when they're clients is when we start adding them to our social. I used to add them when they were leads, but not all leads become clients, right? And then you'll see, especially if you've been doing this as long as we can, you'll max out your friends list quicker than you think. So I want to reserve those for the people that I truly do business with, or who can truly add value to. But at this point, add them on social, right? Because then you want them to see all your posts, your hustle, your grind. You're out there moving and shaking. When they're further in the process, they see you out there marketing their property, doing all this legwork, and they're just like, damn, my agent's the shit, right? So add them on social. It's also another way for them to connect and build that rapport with you. When you meet up with them next time, hey, how's your dog? Hey, how's your kids? Oh my God, I saw you did that. That was so awesome, right? Like the connection factor. And I keep building on that, because when we do it, it's not fake. It's truly genuine. We truly get interested or care about who it is we're working with. So we ask because of true curiosity, but also interest, right? Always lead with value. Every time you're reaching out, hey, well, what else can I do? You good? You needing anything else? You like, I just always, those little touches, like those little subtleties, we call them style points. You'd be surprised at how far those things go. They just, hey, you sure you need anything? Like, I know I asked you when I didn't have your business, but I want you to know that even more so now. What do you need? I got you, right? Because then you'd be surprised. Well, hey, I was thinking about this. I need movers. I need, like, there's been so many crazy things, but as us being agents, you got to be resourceful, right? Reach out, figure it out, chat GPT it, but then do it. Like those little subtleties go big. You're still delivering world-class service. Remember, 10 out of, or 13 out of 10. No one needs to be done, if anything. That way, when you're reaching out, because maybe their clients, you have the buyer broker listing agreement signed, but they had to do some repairs. They still needed to work on their credit. They needed to file their taxes. Cool. Did you do that yet? Like, know why we're waiting. So that way, when you're following up and following up accordingly, if they're good to go, then it's, you're trying to get them out for showings. Like, hey, and you'll see in the next slides, but okay, hey, did you have some time this weekend to go look at properties? Hey, do you have some time this week to go look at properties? Hey, do hey, here's the feedback report from this weekend's traffic on your property and this week's listing update. Boom, right? So know what needs to be done, if anything. But then checking in, like I said, on specific dates, or checking weekly unless specified time frame is set. Also, too, is like, we have, like, so on Thursday, Friday, we're asking, hey, Emily, do you have any properties you'd like to go see this weekend? On Monday, Tuesday, hey, Emily, is there any properties you'd like to go see this week? Because they're already clients. I want to start moving the ball down the field as quickly as possible. But then also, too, if they're listing, hey, following up with these listing dates, but then that's what also helps minimize them reaching out to you, because everybody's staying in touch, right? Hopefully you're getting out on showings, because again, once we're here, the goal is to get them under contract, right? Like, this is when we have to prove what we do, right? Like, hey, I'm looking for this specific property. I need this to be done. Cool. I'm the guy to help you with it. So get them under contract, right? Um, Continuing down the funnel. So we're almost done. So now we're at under contract. So we're under contract. So now it's the contract to close process. Whether you use a TC, whether you're doing it, same thing. You want to have a process in line, a rhythm, so that way that process goes well for them. Hopefully you have a TC, an admin or assistant, so that way at this point you'll see down here, you can go focus on your more money-making vitals or activities, right? It'll free up a lot of your time, a lot of your headache and hassle, depending on your goals or your volume. You shouldn't be even considering doing your own paperwork, right? So one, if you have it, leverage it, use it. But then also two, if you're not doing it, make sure that you do that exceptionally well, but don't let it slow down your future progress. And I'll get down to that in a minute. You're still giving world-class service, still checking in. Don't, like, we've had clients where it's like, yeah, I got under contract, but I haven't heard from them. Yeah, they got the listing, we haven't heard from them. No, what else can be done? Be a resource, keep checking in, right? And if you have those set days, it helps with that. Start asking at this point is when you start asking for referrals and reviews, right? Technically, I associate asking for a referral with a compliment. When somebody gives me a compliment, that's so sweet of you. I truly pride myself on what I do. I'm very passionate about it. Thank you so much. You've been great to work with as well. You wouldn't by chance happen to know any friends or family that are looking at jumping into the market, do you? Typically, if you're cool, your friends and family are cool, I'd love to be able to work with, more of your crew. Start asking for the referrals. Then, if not, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Again, I truly try to make this a way like higher caliber service or experience than any other agent. When you use me versus them, I want you to feel like, damn, like I could have paid them the same, but I should have been paying her more or him more or whatever, right? So then I'm like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It truly means a lot to my business and truly helps me get more business. If I send you my Google link, would you mind just leaving that on my page or on our page? It would truly mean a lot. So start asking for referrals and reviews at this point. And then again, the reason why you want to have the contract close process either dialed in or delegated is because this right here, once you start getting under contract, technically about the client part, but for sure, by the time you get under contract, most agents stop lead generating. They stop doing the activities up here that got them to where they're at down here. So then they start working with the client or two. They stop their lead generation, their lead follow-up. They stop working the funnel down. And then they work with their client or their two clients or whatever it is. They feel overwhelmed, but they still feel productive. They feel like they're doing something. But then in a month, 2 months, they'll have no closings for the next month or 2 months, because then they got to rebuild that momentum, get back to the top of the funnel where they're doing activities, getting leads, following up with them, setting the appointment, conducting it. This by far is when agents start fucking up. Like, first, it starts when they become a client, but this right here is a certainty. Don't be that agent. Keep doing what got you that client or whatever other activity it is. Maybe you're doing open houses and social, and maybe you are so busy you can't do open houses. You can definitely do social. Keep doing whatever activities that got you the clients or are going to bring you the clients that you want to continue to work with. Lastly, so commissions and past clients. So at this point, again, you got them under contract, now they close. So you get compensated, but you also get a past client. Compensation's cool, the past client's great. Now, most people only focus on the immediate, the one-time transaction. The average client to a committed, like, long-term agent who's looking at being in the industry, like, make this their career, any one client on average brings to that agent $70,000 throughout the lifetime of that agent's career, whether it's through multiple transactions, referrals. Like, that data is tracked through the NAR. Like, it's a statistical fact. Well, if I know that, I want to then make sure that I'm doing everything to maximize that client relationship, which is why you should have a dialed in past client follow-up and strategy. This is why you want them on your social, to stay in front of them and stay in touch with them. This is why we'll do some of the other things down here, but don't let that go to waste. If you don't have a past client strategy, reach out. Ours is in the lead follow-up section, but don't let that go, because if you do, there will be agents like ourselves within the next 3 to 5 years, like we're here in Arizona, so the average Phoenician transacts every 6 to 7 years right now. Well, if they just bought, cool. I know in the next 6 to 7 years they're going to be doing it again, and I know you're not going to follow up with them. I will be, and I will be who they then use. So treat it with that importance, which is why down here again it becomes a past client, goes back up here into the lead section, and this is the most important lead, but also the most forgotten that clients follow up with. The last time I heard the stat, 76% of clients said that they loved their realtor. It would absolutely use them again, but don't remember who their agent was. So don't be that agent. So again, best lead source. This is also too what generates a lot of referrals. Like every time you're checking in, thank you so much. And there's a lot of different ways to ask for referrals without just blatantly asking for referrals. So get creative with it. Chat GPT it if you need to. But you don't want to be just the person who, oh my God, it's Armando calling me. I know you're just going to see how I'm going to say, how's he doing? And then ask me for business or clients. Like, don't be that agent. But keep in mind that they have similar friends, they have similar interests or hobbies, maybe similar employers or income bracket to where, like, if that client was awesome, epic, and amazing, try to do what you can to get in front of their friends and family, right? Whether it's you throwing an event, going to one of their events, adding their friends. Like if you do a congratulation post and you tag the client, well, it's only going to be your friends and then their friends that like it. Well, you can see who liked it. Anybody who says add friend, I add friend, because now we're in the same bubble, right? Again, add a social if you haven't already done so, engage often. And people, like, especially now in today's world, it doesn't mean you need to call them. You could just shoot them a DM, shoot them a comment. Like, if you think about how many people you actually comment on the daily, you probably could give people a little bit more motivation, praise, encouragement. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid. Hey, Em, love to see that the kids graduated or whatever. It looks like you're having a great family vacation. Truly hope you and the family are doing well. Things like that. You know what I mean? Maybe they're having a downtime. Well, it's everything to them, and it's nothing for you to send them an Uber Eats. Maybe their family got sick, and you Uber Eats them some food. You, what do we have? Instacart them medicine, juices, snacks, things like that. We do that all the time for our clients. We don't personally believe as much in like closing gifts. We believe in doing things like that, where maybe their kid graduated, they have the best photo or family photo. We'll put it on a mug, we'll put it on a canvas, and we'll ship it directly to them. From Malik and Armando, great photo, thinking of you. Like those things right there are huge. I can't even express it. So it doesn't have to be an actual call. There's a lot of other ways to stay in touch with them. And because they've already used you, they know how they use you or how they know you. People will ask, don't ever let it go more than 90 days without checking in, especially like if it's on social, you get away with it. But every 6 months, you at least want to check in with a phone or a text or a little bit more with your real estate hat on, because you always want them to know that you're an authority or professional. Whether it's, hey, Em, I know last time I checked in, you guys had an awesome family vacation. It looks super dope. I was just checking in on you, seeing if you'd like, or seeing how you're doing, seeing if I can help you with anything, and seeing if you might want an updated current value report on your home. If they just bought it, probably not, but you're at least offering some value, some service. Hey, I know it's pool season. Would you like me to connect you with any vendors or anything like that? No, cool. Hey, I just wanted to check in on you. I was thinking about you. Glad you're doing well. Hit me up if you need anything prior, right? So it doesn't have to be all salesy. And then another thing too, like going back to reading, like if I know you like a certain author or a book or a style or musician, if they drop a new book, I send it to them straight from Amazon. If they like movies, like, oh, I'm a Marvel nerd, send them a couple tickets to AMC or Harkins or whatever, right? Like those little style points go big. So don't be afraid to do it, because that's you just reinvesting in your business. Most people think, oh, it's an expense, I'm buying them this or this. No, you are reinvesting in your business, in yourself. And to us, trust me, we are a very network, relationship, referral business. This is how. Just again, and these are last couple tips, but one, just things we touched on, use your CRM, leverage your task synergies. Two, be proactive. Even if you're unsure and they say, yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, just call me in 6 months. Cut it in half. If they say, call me in 3 months, cut it in half. Hey, Em, I know you said to call you back in 6 or 3 months. Let's just say you said both. Hey, call me back in 6 months. Okay, well, hey, last time I spoke to you, you said call you back in 6 months. We're halfway there. Just checking in. Is that still the same time frame, or is there anything I can help you with now? Right? Or, hey, Em, you said to call you in 3 months. We're about a month and a half out now. I just wanted to check in on you, see if that's the same game plan, or can I help you with anything now? You would be surprised at when how I say our agents keep more of their leads and then convert more into clients. This is how. It's because when they say call you in 3 months, when you call them in 3 months, they've already started. They've already gotten the ball rolling. Like start paying attention to that. If you're calling leads and they're like, oh, I already got pre-approved with the lender, or I'm already working with an agent, even though they spoke with you and they said that they'll save your information, you're too late, which is why we got to be proactive. You know what I mean? So, hey, just checking in, making sure that was just the same time frame or game plan, or if there's anything I can do for you now. That's how you're able to get more. Actually, I was getting ready to get things started. Actually, yes, I would. And then boom, right? But then it also confirms or adjusts any possible timeframes if they needed to delay it because something else came up or happened. Again, know what your goal or goals are with calling. Like, hey, I'm going to set X number of appointments. I'm going to have X number of consultations, whatever it is. And then communicate multiple ways. We're very big on voice notes, as I'm sure a lot of our agents and friends know. We're very big into DMing, video text, things like that, right? Like, don't be afraid to be have omni channels of reach outs because you'd be surprised. Like, some might like the phone. Like, if you try to call me, I'm not going to answer it. But if you text me, I got you, right? Unless you're obviously a business partner or a teammate. But if you're DMing me, I probably won't DM it. I get hit up so much on there that unless you're within our organization, it's hard for me to filter all those. So text is the best. So if you text me, I'm going to respond a lot faster, right? So everybody has different styles. So hit them up different ways. Once you find their preferred, always try to make that the preferred until they change or things change. This QR code for anybody who wants to scan it. This is how you can reach out to us if you did have any questions about anything that we went over. If you need help with any presentations, scripting, consultation questions, appointment setting, if you want to get into anything a little bit deeper, that is that. Em, I know it's currently you on here live now or currently. Did you have any follow-up questions or anything specific that we could dive in on a little bit deeper for you?
I have a lead and I'm stuck. I helped him purchase his, excuse me one second. I helped him purchase his home a few years ago. And he's calling me, he just got divorced and he wants to sell. So I've been kind of working with him since December, trying to get him to list his home. But he's a know-it-all. And nothing I say like gets through to him. And so I'm kind of like just stuck on how to get him to
And
move
was
forward.
he and he was gonna sell and get into something else, correct? You're out.
I'm
Okay.
assuming so, but he told me, go ahead.
Oh, I think she has to leave. Is that what you're saying, Breeze?
Oh,
Or were you gonna answer the
Sorry, I
question?
didn't want to jump in. Yeah, and Mondo can kick ass on this question. And Breeze, yeah, to touch on, I think everything you said was absolutely amazing and definitely on par. And it literally is just rinsing and repeating the same activities with consistency and a trackable manner. So awesome, love it. Yes, I gotta hop off here, so I just at least wanted to say goodbye. And Emily, if you need anything, let me know, and we can this afternoon.
sounds good. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye, Breeze. Thanks.
Bye, Breeze. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording now, and then you can continue to wrap, okay?
Okay.